Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's case is actually a suggestion from Stephen. So thank you, Stephen, for suggesting this case. So this case is the very well-known plane disappearance of MH370. I'm sure you have heard of this case before. It was covered all over the news, all over the world. But if you haven't heard this case, then welcome to this case, and hopefully this video can do it some justice. I just want to say before we get into this video that what I'm going to tell you is literally just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much information out there on this case because obviously it's not solved. So if you want to do some more research, definitely go ahead and do some more research. And again, I can't 100% guarantee everything that I tell you in this case is 100% correct. Okay, so let's get into today's case. So today's case is of the MH370 disappearance in 2014. So we'll start with the facts first. This video is going to be a little bit all over the place because there's just so many speculation out there and not facts. But I'll give you all of the facts first, and then we'll get into some speculations and theories later. So on March 8th in 2014, 239 people boarded the MH370 plane. This plane was on board from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and it was making its way down to Beijing in China. The plane's duration from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing was only meant to be 6 hours and 25 minutes, so it wasn't a very long plane ride. It was quite short. So it is not really confirmed what time the plane was to take off. I have two different times of when the plane disappeared, but no time to when the plane actually took off. So I'm just gonna guess it was around 12:45 to 12:50 a.m. So this plane was kind of like a early morning flight. So people probably just got onto the plane. They probably just wanted to get some sleep, get some rest. It was early hours of March 8th in 2014. So I have read on the internet that some of these people that boarded the plane included some people going to Beijing for some work. Some people were on the plane to actually attend a wedding or an engagement party. Some people were there to meet their family in Beijing, so they were just going on a family holiday. So there were a lot of people on this plane that had some exciting things ahead of them, and they had no idea that boarding this plane would be the last time anyone would hear of them. So we'll get into some facts of the pilot. So the pilot who flew this plane, and I just got to look down here on my notes. I think it's pronounced Zahari Ahmed Shah. He was the pilot of this plane, and he was actually with Malaysian Airlines since 1981. So he's been with the airline for quite some time. So he was well known in the aviation community. I've heard some things on the internet, I've seen some things of his co-pilot saying that he was an amazing pilot. He always cared about his passengers on board. He always spoke to them. If you've flown a plane, you would know that sometimes the pilot will actually directly speak to you before taking off, or whilst taking off they will directly speak to you. Some pilots don't, some pilots do, and I think it's just a good safety feeling when the pilot does talk to you directly. So he always did that with his flights. He always made sure everyone was fine. And yeah, and he obviously loved his job. He had been with Malaysian Airlines for quite some time. He started in 1981. And at the time of this incident, he was 53 years old. So he wasn't too old. But yeah, so he absolutely loved his job. So basically at 1:21 a.m., the plane lost contact with Malaysian Airlines. So they lost contact, nothing. They couldn't reach the plane. They didn't know where it was. They couldn't speak to the pilot or co-pilot. They couldn't contact anyone on that plane. The plane literally disappeared, and this only happened 38 minutes into the flight. So that's why I'm saying around 12:45 12:50 a.m. is probably when the plane took off, and then at 1:21 a.m. the plane lost contact. So 38 minutes into the flight, so the plane hadn't even left the country yet. I think this is before the plane lost contact. I'm pretty sure it was, otherwise I don't know how they would know this, but the last words that were heard from the plane were believed to be from either the pilot or the co-pilot was "Good night, Malaysian 370." So they can 100% confirm that the plane did crash in the Indian Ocean. Where exactly it crashed is of speculation. I've seen that it crashed off the coast of Western Australia, it's crashed near South Africa, it's crashed all different places, and that is because the plane's little bits and pieces have been found pretty much spread out everywhere. So we'll get into the little bits and pieces of the plane that has been found, and it was found quite some time after. So the plane disappeared on March 8th in 2014, and the first bit of plane that was found was in July of 2015. So pretty much a year and a bit after the plane disappeared. They had no idea where the plane was. They had no idea if it crashed, like confirmed to be crashed. They had no idea if it got hijacked and they were all getting taken hostage. They literally had no idea for more than a year, and that would have been so scary for the families of those people that were on the plane. But finally, sorry as well about my voice, I think I'm getting sick, so if you can hear crackling voices and like my nose, I do apologize. I have read on different sources that the plane basically went on off route before it lost contact with Malaysian Airlines. It just went the complete different way. Actually proven that after the plane lost contact with Malaysian Airlines, satellites picked up different pings off the plane, and it was proven that the plane actually flew for 7 hours after it lost contact with Malaysian Airlines, because every now and then a satellite would ping off the plane. They couldn't actually identify exactly where the plane was heading, exactly what course it was on, where it was going, but every time it pinged off a satellite, it was going different directions. So it was basically going this way and then that way and then straight and then this way and then that way. So it was very hard for investigators to find out where exactly this plane was, and they couldn't pinpoint it exactly, but they did do an experiment, and apparently after the 7 hours of it flying, it would have lost fuel. So it could have crashed because it lost fuel, but that doesn't explain why it went off course, why it lost communication, why anything of that was made. So it definitely lost fuel. They did confirm that, and it definitely went offline. And the Malaysian government actually gave out a statement saying that they believed that the plane, just before it crashed in the Indian Ocean, was being manually flown. So they believe that the plane was manually being flown and then it crashed. I don't 100% know why they think this, if there's anything behind this, if it's just not public knowledge, but that's just all I got off the internet. So I was going to look down on my notes for this part, because we're going to get into the parts of the planes that have been found, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the dates of these. So there are five confirmed foundings of the plane, and there's one unconfirmed finding of the plane, but it is most likely of the MH370. So the first finding was in July of 2015, and the plane's right wing was found in St. Denis on Reunion Island. So this was obviously massive, like a plane's right wing. Like I think it was half of the right wing. I don't think it was the full thing, but still, like that was massive. And so they actually flew this over to Canberra to be tested in Australia, and in September of 2015 it was confirmed to be the right wing of MH370. So the next finding was found on the 27th of December in 2015, and a South African teenager was actually on holiday, and he found the wing flap of the left wing, and he was holidaying in Mozambique. I'm so sorry if I did not pronounce that correctly. He basically found this bit of plane and he actually took it home with him. He had no idea basically what it was. He just probably thought it was just rubbish and a cool thing to find, but later on I'm guessing he's probably spoke to his parents and he probably thought, you know, this is actually from a missing plane. So they ended up taking it obviously to the police. The police again flew this bit of plane back to Canberra in Australia, and this was also confirmed to be part of MH370. MH370. The next finding was on the 28th of February in 2016. The horizontal stabilizer panel from the right tail was found on a beach in Mozambique. So the exact same place, another bit of the plane was found. And again, this was flown back to Canberra in Australia, and they confirmed it to be off MH370 because the stenciling of the words "no step" were the stencilings that Malaysian Airlines used. So it was linked to that, and it was confirmed to be off MH370. The next finding was on the 21st of March in 2016. A piece that wasn't identified was found in Mossel Bay in South Africa. So they actually had no idea where this piece came from off the plane. They couldn't piece it together where it actually came from, but again, it was actually found to be confirmed of being off MH370 because again, the stenciling used on it was the same stenciling that Malaysian Airlines used. The next finding was found on the 30th of March in 2016. A segment believed to be from the main cabin was found in Rodrigues Island in Mauritius. So they couldn't actually properly identify this segment either, but it was believed from the cabin. And again, this was confirmed to be off MH370 because the laminating used on this piece was what Malaysian Airlines used. Then the last confirmed finding was on the 23rd of June in 2016. The inboard section of the right wing's outboard flap was found on Pemba Island in Zanzibar. I'm so sorry, I probably butchered that. But this was confirmed again by Australian investigators in Canberra. So they're all the confirmed pieces of the plane to be confirmed off MH370. So there's one bit of information here that is unidentified and unconfirmed, but it is most likely off MH370, and that was found in September of 2016. There was 2 identified segments found in Madagascar, and they can't be confirmed because they've got rust over them, and they actually believe that it was from a fire. So they actually believe these pieces were in a fire. So there was a massive news break that the plane actually caught fire, but later on testing found that it was just rust because it obviously was sat in water for so long, and they actually couldn't test to see if it was from Malaysian Airlines. So unfortunately, it hasn't been 100% be confirmed to be from Malaysian Airlines, but it is pretty likely that it is. So that's all of the information and facts that I know 100%. So we'll get into some theories now. So there is so many theories out there, like crazy theories out there, that literally blew my mind. But there's way too many to put into this information because a lot of them just don't have enough evidence and they're just really stupid. So I just chose the most known ones and some of the ones that aren't too known but could actually have happened, which I was surprised to see that this wasn't on the news or anything because they made a lot of sense. So the first one I'm sure you guys have all been wondering or thinking was that the pilot most likely hijacked the plane. So there's actually 2 theories here with the pilot. So the first theory with the pilot is that the pilot actually locked the co-pilot out of the cockpit and he gassed everyone on the plane. He obviously had his own oxygen mask that he put on so he obviously wouldn't get gassed. And then when they were all passed out, he parachuted out of the plane and landed on a secret island to meet with his new girlfriend. I highly doubt that did not happen. The second theory of the pilot is that he obviously hijacked the plane. He did lock the co-pilot out of the cockpit. He hijacked the plane and it was a murder-suicide. And this was actually backed up by some of his co-pilots. So at the start, I did say that his co-pilot said that he was an amazing pilot. He absolutely loved flying planes. He always made sure his passengers were safe, they felt safe and things like that. But some of his other co-pilots also said that they believe that he would have hijacked this plane and crashed it on purpose. They believe that he would do this. And I don't 100% know why they believe this or why they think this. That isn't public knowledge, but they did come forward to say that they believed that this pilot would have hijacked the plane and crashed it. So I personally don't know what to think of that theory, because the pilot had been with the company for years. He started in 1981. If he wanted to crash a plane, why didn't he do it earlier? Or why didn't he just go by himself and do it? I don't know. I know it doesn't really make sense. It's so hard because, like, you just don't know what someone's going through. He could have been going through a rough patch, maybe money problems, maybe a divorce or something like that, and maybe that's where the new girlfriend came in with the first theory. But it's really hard. I don't want to say that he did do this, because obviously we don't know, but it is a possibility, obviously, that the pilot did it. The next theory is that the Russian president Vladimir Putin, sorry if that I pronounced that completely wrong, actually hijacked the plane to hurt the West. So I don't know if something was going on at the time between Russia and China, or Russia and Malaysia, but apparently he wanted to shoot down the plane. He wanted to hijack it, and apparently he did this by hacking into the plane's navigation system, so the plane would fly unnoticed. The next theory is that the US military shot down the plane, and that is one that I have heard so many times, that someone shot down this plane. There's actually 3 theories within the US military. So that was the first one, they just shot it down. The second one is that they shot it down because they believed it was hijacked. So I don't know, someone must have told them that it was hijacked or something, so they ended up shooting it down, which to me doesn't make sense, because if it's hijacked, why would you shoot it down? Because they're gonna die anyway. So if it was hijacked, like, you're pretty much doomed. So that doesn't make sense to me. I don't really think that's credible, but apparently that was it. And then the other theory was that the US fighter jets were doing a military exercise and they accidentally shot down the plane, and then they tried to cover it up, and obviously they didn't come forward or anything, and that is obviously credible. We don't 100% know. I think there was actually military training going on in the exact same area that the plane was going, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure. The next theory that I actually only found out a couple months ago, actually, on the news, was that someone on board, and this is confirmed, someone on board who obviously isn't named or identified, took out a large life insurance before they boarded the plane. I'm pretty sure I read it was 2 days before they boarded the plane they took out this life insurance. I'm not 100% sure though, you can definitely go and research that. But they took out this massive life insurance, and then theories speculated, and they said, oh no, this person that took out this life insurance was in trouble. And so basically they hijacked the plane, killed everyone, so their family would get a massive payout, and then they could pay off the people that were coming after this person. So apparently he was in debt, so the family could pay them off, and then the family will be safe. So that could be credible, but that's pretty extreme to kill 239 people over, but definitely credible. The next theory is actually something my friend told me a couple days ago, actually. I had no idea about this, but this has also been confirmed, that someone on board who was really, really rich, massively rich, and they had a suitcase with them, and apparently in this suitcase there were like really, really important documentations, like a chip that had really important documentations on it that was worth a lot to a lot of people, which kind of comes back to the Russian president shooting down or hijacking the plane. This person definitely had something very valuable on it, so this was made into a theory that sensitive material was on board. So basically someone hijacked the plane and flew it to a secret island, and the rest is history. That doesn't really make sense to me, but the fact that maybe he did have some sensitive material on the plane, someone knew this, wanted to get it, and then hijacked the plane and then killed everyone to get it, even though they would probably die themselves. Obviously, yeah, that could be half credible, half not. You guys can make up your mind on that. The next theory is one that I was the massive theory at the start. Like, this was the only theory that I knew of at the time when this happened, and I'm sure you guys would have too. And this was that North Korea hijacked the plane, or they shot it down. So I remember that is just what everyone was talking about, that North Korea did this, North Korea shot it down, blame North Korea, and it was just a massive thing about North Korea. But I don't really think that one's very popular anymore. I don't think it is. I didn't really read that on the internet that one was really popular. When this happened, that was definitely popular. The next theory was that the plane landed in the Cambodian jungle, and this was made because in 2018, a British producer named Ian Wilson claimed he had found the missing plane on Google Maps. I don't really know how you would find a missing plane on Google Maps, but apparently he did. And so the Chinese government ended up searching this area that he said the plane was in, and nothing was found. And as they were searching through the jungle, they were actually talking to the local Cambodian people that live there, and they actually said that they saw a plane who they think was the MH370 actually crash in the jungle. So they said, yes, we saw a plane crash here in 2014. But I don't know if they came forward. I don't know if they went up to the plane to see if people were okay. I literally have no idea. I don't think that's true. I highly doubt that they would have seen a plane crash and not tell anyone. And then later on, when they get asked about it, they come forward. I don't know, but that is apparently what they said. But no plane at all was found in the Cambodian jungle. So that's all the theories that I pulled out for you guys. There is just so many out there that look like crazy that I could not put in this video because I cannot take them seriously. Like, there was theories that like alien abduction happened, which is, yeah, maybe if you believe in aliens, but yeah, like just things like that were just like really childish. I just didn't want to put in this video because this is a serious matter. Like, people, I'm guessing, lost their lives in this. Obviously we don't 100% know if they were any survivors, and they actually just don't know. Maybe they're living out on an island somewhere, no one just knows about this island. It could be like a little secluded island and they're all living out there, they don't know, but it's very unlikely. So I'm gonna go with that there was no survivors. And yeah, to my knowledge, I don't think any bodies have 100% been found. I couldn't find it on the internet, nothing would come up. It could maybe be because families didn't want that out to public information, but to my knowledge, they were actually no confirmed of bodies found. So that's pretty much it for this case. The plane's black box has never been found to this day, which is what we really need to find, is the black box. And it's very unusual that some of the plane was found, but the black box wasn't, because normally if there is a plane crash, the black box is found as well, but most of the plane hasn't been found as well. It's just bits and pieces, which is also very weird because you would think that the plane would be found if there was bits and pieces, but the Malaysian government has actually spent so much money to search for this plane in the Indian Ocean, and nothing has shown up. And so this case has pretty much gone cold. Pretty much everyone has stopped investigating it. It's been 5 years, and the only people that are investigating it at the moment are the French investigators. Everyone else has just pretty much had enough, which I don't think is very fair. There are still families out there who want to know what happened to their loved ones. They want to find them, even if it's just finding their body to bring them home and get that closure. I think that's what they need. 5 years is way too long to not know what's happened. I'm sure they go to bed every night wondering what happened, and that's just not how you would like someone to live their life. I really do hope that the French investigators come through with any clues at all to narrow down these theories, or just find anything at all. So I am hoping that does happen, and I am hoping that the Australian investigators or the Malaysian investigators open up the case again, because this needs to get solved. Like, it's just not fair to the families of the 239 people on board. So that's pretty much it for this case. There were heaps of theories, as I said, and obviously more. And again, this is only the tip of the iceberg for this case. I couldn't put a lot of information in there because it just wasn't credible at all, and I only wanted to tell you guys the facts and the speculations around those facts. But if you guys want to research this case, definitely go and research it. There is so much interesting information out there. Like, it is just very interesting to see what people are saying about this case as well. So if you definitely want to find out more, definitely go and research it. That's pretty much it for this case. Yeah, I would love to know your theories. Leave them down below if you have any theories that I haven't mentioned, or if you agree with any of the ones I've mentioned, what your take is on the case. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and if you would like to get any notifications, make sure you click the notification bell and you'll get notified whenever I post a video. Also, don't forget to leave your case suggestions down below. if you have any, because I have received so many messages on Instagram of case suggestions that it's a little bit overwhelming. I got about 20 last week, so I ended up putting a Q&A on Instagram to get you guys to kind of use that. And again, I did get a lot, but I think I would prefer if you guys just left them down below in the comments, because that way they won't get lost in my messenger inbox. Some of them, because I don't follow you or something like that, it's just a request, and sometimes I don't get them. So if you really do want a case covered, just make sure you leave them down below in the comments, and then I can look at them and for sure know that I've got them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go, guys. Thank you again for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.